Hello, everybody. My name is the Deuteron Doctor, and I saw a director's take in the news feed for the server we use for the Discord and the YouTube channel. And so I figured I'd read it off, and Drax is with me. Say hi, Drax.
I
And hopefully we can get some ideas on what they're working up on in the future. And the reason I'm also doing this is because a bunch of other Overwatch YouTubers cover this stuff, and I'm hoping to be the first. But I'm sure people have
I
already
no.
uploaded stuff.
Yeah, when we got the news on the Discord, it's like sometime we get the patch note, and the patch note we already know it for like 3 hours at least.
All right.
Uh,
Hello, everybody, and happy 2024. We're at the start of the new year, and I thought it would be a great idea to talk about a review of 2024. This director's take will be one part of a series where we frame up the year according to a set of values we're going to use to develop the game. These values translate into goals and specific additions and changes to the game. There's a lot of different things coming up this year that I want to share, so think of this as the first series of topics to cover. One of the biggest values of the team is to improve Overwatch's individual team focused gameplay to meet the needs of our core audience. When I look at the future of Overwatch, a year or two out, I don't see the exact same game we're playing now, but with a few more heroes and maps added to it. The game should always evolve with new systems and features that serve our players. Some of these features could live just outside of a match, such as a map voting system. Ooh, that might be nice.
yeah,
Um, Some of these could be larger systems that define the way players interact with the game, such as a competitive system, and we know that's coming soon. And
yeah,
some of
next
these
month.
changes could be within a match itself, modifications to the movement gameplay, which is also happening this weekend. This last part is what I'd like to talk about today. Additional director's takes will look at other parts of the game that I mentioned, such as a competitive system, hero balance, and economy. I'd also like to take some
Oh,
time to talk about future events and limited time game modes, as well as larger systems that we have the possibility of coming to the game.
economy. Oh, that seems
Um,
interesting.
Economy like either the
Uh,
shop or like alt
yeah, that
economy.
that's what I'm saying. It seems interesting to know what they're gonna do about that.
So let's get into Overwatch gameplay. Starting with the obvious, Overwatch is a team-based, hero-based, multiplayer competitive shooter. Heroes, maps, and game modes are all designed to require teams to work together in order to successfully win a match. When a team works together, each player using their hero to the fullest potential while relying on each other to execute a strategy, um, a strategy, the game feels magical. There's really no other FPS like it. However, when this isn't happening and players are all working on their own, the game is far from magical and can become frustrating. And I agree with
Yeah,
that. The
yeah.
reliance on teammates can simultaneously be one of the best and worst attributes of our game. We want to improve this. We want to improve this by looking at the game through the lens of teamwork and make it easier for players to be part of the team while also lessening some of the pain when it's not happening. In fact, a lot of our goals for improving the core game system stem from looking at Overwatch as a whole, improving parts of the game that are working, and finding fixes for the parts that negatively affect the experience. We've implemented some features to align with this. The ping system and the new respawn system both encourage team play. For those who don't know, the spawn together system adjusts players' individual respawn times so they respawn with teammates more often. This system will get a tuning pass in Season 9 to make the effect more prominent. But we're talking about other features that will make it easier for players to work as a team. Party frames is one of those. Party frames?
I,
These are on screen player health indicators that we use for our PvE
okay.
events. Oh, yeah, 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 yeah,
See,
yeah.
like,
I hope they bring that to
yeah, that would be
multiplayer.
good.
That would be
Yeah.
so useful. Other
It's
possible
like an old
features,
PvE event, but not this.
yeah. Other possible features such as backfill improvements, changes to our scoreboard, and ways to mitigate spawn camping also align with this. To show the
Oh,
extent of our discussions, even an ally-only minimap feature was discussed. Huh?
mm. That means like
Oh,
making a
that
map
that
that you know
might
where your
be.
teammates are.
I'd be okay with that. I'd be more than okay with that.
I won't really know what he will change, knowing exactly where your teammates are.
Um, I mean, for support, it wouldn't really matter all that much, but for like DPS to know where your
Oh,
tank is, where know where your supports is really crucial. So I could see that. Um, some of these systems are under discussion and some are in development. I don't think a minimap has a high likelihood of shipping, but I do think that party frames are likely. Ooh, that makes me excited. I
yeah,
I would
they
love
do that
party
for each
frames.
PvE event. but
That
it's
would
still not implemented.
yeah, that would be so fucking fun, bro. That would
That would
make
really help the support and the tank to know, okay, that's why I'm not getting healed. My DPS really need heal and
yeah,
everything. And
yeah,
also you
that
can
would
see, oh wait, my support's getting attacked. They're getting flanked. I should help them.
yeah. And instead of the you know how the green to yellow to orange indicator for allies when you're a support, it doesn't
But I
tell you
think, I,
exactly how much health they have. It just says roughly kind of you can kind of
yeah,
assume how much health
but
they have.
but
But
I wish they keep that in game for you still see and you see that they didn't heal instead of looking down to your screen.
yeah, and the good thing is like anti could show up, other effects could show up, so like you could always keep track of who's what, like who is
And if they
being
have Hilari ult, your screen blind you.
no, no, no. It would just be like shown on your health bar to them and their health bar to you, so
Yeah,
you could keep track of things much easier. You can keep track of cooldowns easier just because of those ones that gain effects. You can keep track of ults because of that same reason.
yeah,
That could be really fucking useful. I'd enjoy that.
yeah.
It's our hope that staying closer to your teammates and having more information on what they're doing will help encourage team play. But what happens when your team is not working well together? We definitely want to make this less frustrating. We've talked about the new competitive system coming this season 9. Hold on, let me yawn.
Hmm.
But there's a massive set of gameplay and balance changes coming to that season as well. Many of those changes are aimed at reducing damage spikes in combat. I won't get into all of it here. We're working on a standalone post to be published closer to the start of that season. But for the sake of the current discussion, I'd like to talk about one aspect of it. In Season 9, both tank and damage heroes will get a modified, tuned down version of the support self healing passive. I don't know if that's a good idea. Because, how, like, sure, you won't be as reliant on supports. That's great. But on the
It
other
would.
hand, if you just avoid taking damage, you just don't die. And plus with horse buffs, that could honestly make a another horse meta.
I see it more for flanking heroes, but I see it more for flanking heroes like Sombra, like Tracer and Genji, when they're stuck in the backline to
Yeah,
at least
and
getting heals.
Reaper, Echo could benefit from those, but like,
And honestly, it would be good with Ryan. He put his shield up, and during that time he get healed with his passive.
yeah. But I think that would be I think it might be a little busted because they've been
We don't
bringing
know
out
yet.
some kind of overtuned people lately. Like I think Rams overtuned as fun as I love, as fun as he is to play for me. Like Mauga was busted, Horse is now kind of busted, and I don't want them to have a tuned down version, but it's like barely tuned down. It's like maybe one less healing per second.
No, no, it won't. It would take if you're not taking damage 5 seconds, you get healed for like 10 like 5 HP per second. It would be
Um,
something like this.
I hope so at least.
Support is like you don't take damage for 2 seconds, you get like 15 per seconds, I think.
This should give non-support players more options in terms of sustaining themselves. I'm yawning way too much. It should also take some of the pressure off support players to keep everyone alive, since individual players now have more control of their own health pool. In Overwatch, there is a constant tug of war between the power of a team and the power of an individual hero or player. A change like this shifts that balance a lot. This is something that we are constantly evaluating. We still want Overwatch to be defined by team strategy and mechanics, but we feel this can be pulled back a bit now, and possibly more in the future. Well, okay, so on one hand, like the health thing, if your supports refuse to heal you, you can still heal without having to get health packs, which is
Yeah,
great because that happens like 9 out of 10 games in like gold plat lobbies. Like a support will just not heal you.
surprisingly, yeah.
Um,
But also, it's good if everyone died except the tank and he has all the points. He's alone. The other team also died, but he had to stay there. He's low, but he will get heal over time until the support come back.
yeah.
So I
Um,
think it's a good thing they're adding this.
And the the one thing I don't like really is that it says we still want Overwatch to be defined by team strategy and mechanics, but we feel this could be pulled back a bit now and possibly more in the future. That kind of makes me think that they're going to add less mechanically intensive heroes, like with a lower skill gap, which is great, but that means their skill ceiling's going to be way lower as well. And I don't want it to be like you have a character that has like no skill floor almost that gets a shit ton of
Mora.
value.
Mora is doesn't have a lot of skill needed and can
Yeah,
get
but
a lot of value.
she can get a lot of value, but she usually doesn't get a lot of value. You have to be really good at Moira to get a lot of value. But
Oh,
I
then
don't
I'm
want
good at
like
Mora.
sorry, Drax, but Lifeweaver, for example, you can get a shit ton of value out of Lifeweaver just by healing.
Yeah,
Because he has
with
the
his
highest
ult.
healing in the game, and his ult is just healing upon healing upon healing.
And it is ult charge fast too.
Yeah,
If
and
you do seal botting.
I don't want another like Lifeweaver, but even more extreme where you can just exist and the enemy can't do shit about it. Because Lifeweaver's honestly really hard to kill right now, and he can basically keep your whole team alive without the other support.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that they allow the team strategy and mechanics to still exist in the majority of the circumstances, because if they pull back on needing team strategy and mechanics, that means one person could roll the lobby. That means two
Yeah.
characters might be way overpowered and just be able to wipe a whole team on their own.
But they did say they're trying to fix the damage spike.
Yeah, they are trying to fix the damage spike, but let's use Soldier for an example. Soldier is way too forgiving. Like he can heal himself from 0 to max just by pressing E, and he basically gets another health pool.
Yeah, but you need to stay in, which can make him vulnerable.
But his strafing patterns all are within that range of his healing thing. So if he's strafing right, you're not going to hit him. He has super annoying strafing patterns. I as an Echo player, it drives me fucking crazy. But I don't like Soldier. I don't think Soldier is healthy for the game by any means of the imagination, just because he is like the poster child of way over forgiving. Like Sojourn, if you go into a 1v1 with Soldier, if you have the mechanical skill, you're going to win. But the Soldier could just pop down a healing thing, and now if you miss one shot, you're going to die first. Like, I don't want consistent damage with consistent healing, because if you have consistent damage with consistent healing, it's just going to, one or the other is not going to matter. You know, either the damage is going to matter and the healing is not, or the healing is going to matter and the damage is not. Like, having those spikes and knowing when to time those spikes, I think is kind of crucial for the game, because if you have Call of Duty, which is basically just, you know, it's not damage spikes, it's consistent damage for every weapon.
It's like all Soldier, everyone is Soldier in the game.
Yeah, I don't want everyone to be Soldier, because if everyone's Soldier, either nothing's going to die or it's going to be a stalemate forever. Well, that's the same thing. It's either nothing's going to die or you're going to get rolled, because if everyone's Soldier, essentially, with consistent damage and consistent healing, it's just going to balance itself out. It's basically just going to be who has the higher consistent damage. And I feel like having a really high consistent damage is way worse than having a low consistent damage and then a high spike of damage. Because I feel like those spikes of damage are kind of what get you through, like, matches, honestly. If you know when to time your spikes of damage, you win. That's basically, like, boil it down. That is Overwatch, in my opinion. Anyways, we're also actively looking for new ways of improving the core gameplay experience. This weekend, we launched our first Quick Play Hacked event, where we modified the rules of our Quick Play queues. This first iteration is called Quicker Play, and it changes many quick plays mode rules to make matches quicker. Payloads and capture times are faster, respawns are faster, matches are shorter. This particular experiment is designed to look at how these changes affect player psychology. For example, if a player spends less time waiting to respawn, will getting eliminated by an opponent feel less frustrating? I don't think so, honestly. If matches are shorter, will each loss have the same sting that it currently does? Probably. There are also some other out-of-game benefits that could come from this event, such as quicker matchmaking and quicker challenge completion. Based on the reception of these changes, the team might use the feedback towards improving the game. That's what these quick play hacked events are designed to do. Quicken the feedback loop and allow for swifter implementation of improvements to the game. In fact, we have one more thing coming later in Season 8. You can learn more about Quick Play Hacked here. That's it for this week. We'll be back in a few more to talk about additional ways we're looking at improving Overwatch in the course of 2024. Thanks for reading and watching, and we'll see you in game.
So wait, that means that there will be another weekend this season. That there will be changes to quick play.
Or beginning of next season, which could happen as well.
No, they said we have one more coming later in Season 8. It's one of the last sentences.
Yeah.
So yeah, that means they're really strong on it, and we have a lot of different weekends with different quick play games. If they're already putting 2 in a month, we can expect maybe 4 in a season, which can be good for data for the developers, the devs.
Yeah. I think that, all right, so I haven't tried quicker play. I know Drax has, but speaking of quicker play, I don't think that you're going to have more team fights, honestly. I don't think there are more team fights. Because I feel like there's going to be less, like you just said, because the matches are so fast now that the respawn times are still way too slow. Like, if you are making the matches as fast as they are currently, you would have to make the respawn times maybe 40% their normal time to get the same amount of team fights. I feel like if you are not, like, or if your team isn't doing good, there are no team fights. There's maybe 1 or 2, and then the game's over.
On control point, there is up to 3 team fights per control point.
Probably that's average. I mean, there could be more.
The first one, another one after that, and a last one.
Yeah. Like, so I feel like
3.
The motto of faster games, faster team fights, more team fights, that last one, like, more team fights, there's no way that there's more team fights. I'm sorry.
No, there's less team fight, especially on push.
I feel like that's going to make being rolled way more frustrating. It's going to be like slightly less frustrating in the sense that you're not going to be getting rolled for 10 minutes fucking straight, but it's going to be worse in the sense to where you have no time to do anything. Like, it's going to add on to those scenarios to where it's like, oh, if I just had my ult, if we just had another team fight, I would have had my ult and we would have been able to turn it around. It's going to increase those types of, oh, if I just had a little bit more time. Oh, if I just had a little bit more time, I could do this or that or that or this. And I feel like that's going to make the game more frustrating in a different sense than getting rolled for 10 minutes. It's just going to be, oh, now I have less time to do anything. So if I fuck up, now I basically am screwing my team over in the long run faster than I would by a little fuck up and then having time to fix it later.
Yeah.
And having faster games is great, but I don't think that the faster games put so much more stress on you in such a shorter amount of time because you have to perform better. If you do not perform better, you will lose. That will be it. So that's kind of my opinion on it for right now. Anyways, I'm going to upload this to the channel. My name is the Deuteron Doctor, and say bye, Drax.
Bye.
And I will see you later. Bye.